And so in conclusion, the Summer Steam Gala was a great success. And now for the weather. We received an update that an unexpected rain shower has just started forming northwest a few miles off the coast of Sodor and will be arriving on the island this evening. Hope you wore your Wellington boots and rain hats because it's gonna be a downpour. Stand by for further information about the storm, but be sure to arrive at your home safely. And now, we go to our news on the main with Samantha.
The engines on the island of Sodor love nothing more than being really useful every single day. At Brendam Docks, Edward, Oliver and Rosie were working together, shunting the trains for the bigger engines to take across the island when the Fat Controller arrived.
Good afternoon, you three. I need one of you to take one last train to Great Waterton. It contains 2 trucks of coal, a milk tank and a flatbed of logs. Do I have a volunteer?
I'm afraid I can't, sir. I'm about to take my next passenger train.
Ooh. And Salty and I have to help Cranky unload his ship. Some crates are needed for Vickerstown. What about you, Rosie? You did say you wanted to take a train of your own today, so this could be your chance.
Well, I was looking forward to a rest, but I don't see why not.
Very well then, Rosie. The train is waiting for you by Cranky. Charlie is preparing your train now.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. As the Fat Controller left, Oliver could see dark cloud looming out at sea. He could have sworn he saw flashes of lightning.
Ooh, either it's just me, or is that a storm coming?
It probably is. You best be careful getting home, Rosie. You don't want to get caught in the storm.
I'll be fine, Edward. Besides, little engines like me are not scared of storms.
Very well, Rosie. I hope Rosie will be home in time.
Me? Scared of a silly old storm? Rubbish! It's only rain after all. At Great Waterton Station, Stanley was waiting for Rosie. Here's your delivery, Stanley.
Thank you very much, Rosie. These supplies will be of great use here.
Oh, no problem. See you later.
Goodbye, Rosie.
As Rosie was chuffing down the line heading for home, she spotted Emily, who looked very upset. What's the matter, Emily?
I've broken down, Rosie. My cylinder is cracked. I won't be able to make it back in time before the storm comes.
Don't worry, Emily. I'll shunt you to the steamworks. Victor can fix you up in no time.
Oh, thank you, Rosie.
The 2 engines soon arrived at the steamworks, where Victor and the workmen were waiting.
Phew, we made it! Thanks again, Rosie.
Yes, thank you, Rosie, for bringing Emily to safety. But I think you better take on more coal and water for your journey home. You don't want to get trapped in the bad weather, do you?
I'll be fine, Victor. I have plenty for the journey home. Besides, little engines like me are not scared of storms. But that was easier said than done. Every time Rosie saw a friend in trouble, she would help them. And every time her friends would tell her to fill up on more coal and water, Rosie was stubborn and she ignored their warning. Back at Brendam Docks, Edward and Salty had finished shunting a train of flatbeds into place, just as Oliver arrived back from taking his passengers.
Hello, I'm sorry I was late, Toad. There was a cow on the line.
go. Look up below!
Mr. Oliver!
Watch out, matey!
Phew, that was close. Cranky, watch where you drop that.
It wasn't my fault. The wind loosened the cargo for my hook.
Cranky was right. The winds had started to pick up, and the dark wall of clouds was drawing closer to shore. Edward was getting more worried.
Whew, that wind is pretty strong. Rosie should have been back a while ago.
I'm sure she'll be all right, Edward. You heard what she said. Little engines like her are...
Not scared of storms. Yes, I know. But I just have this bad feeling for Rosie. I'm going out to look for her. Oliver, will you stay here in case Rosie comes back?
Of course.
We'll keep an eye out for Miss Rosie, Mr. Edward.
Come on, Edward. Let's go and look for Rosie.
Good luck, matey.
Meanwhile, as Rosie continued down the line, she didn't mind how hard the wind was. She just loved it blowing around her funnel. But then there was trouble. Rosie hit a hard bump on a bent rail, which made her driver and fireman fall out of the cab. But Rosie didn't realise her crew was missing. She was now a runaway engine. The fat controller was looking forward to eating his cream bun when the telephone rang. It was the yard manager, who had called to report about Rosie's disappearance.
So Edward is looking for Rosie. Alright then, let me know if he's found her. Thank you. Now, where was it? Oh yes, come to Daddy.
The evening sun was now covered by the dark clouds, as the storm had just crossed over the west coast of Sodor. No rain had begun to fall yet, as Edward continued his search for his little sister Rosie.
Rosie! Rosie! Where are you, Rosie? Rosie! Rosie!
Rosie could now see the storm clouds draw closer in the sky, and the wind turned from a breeze to a gale. Suddenly, something flew out in front of her and covered her face. Help! I can't see! She didn't realise it was just an old newspaper, but Rosie was pretty frightened, and she went faster and faster. When the newspaper finally blew away, Rosie had had enough of the coming storm and longed to return home. Driver, I think we should be getting back now. Driver? Driver! Where's my driver? Where's my fireman? What shall I do? I can't stop! Help! Help! But the little engine couldn't stop. Rosie kept on running down the line till she suddenly found herself going slower and slower till she came to a stop. She had burned up the last of her coal in her firebox. Oh, I'm so glad I've stopped. As Rosie caught her breath, she looked around but found herself in a forest she's unfamiliar with. What's worse is that, with no driver or fireman, no one can steam her up again to puff back home. Where am I? Hello? Somebody? Help? Edward? Oh no! It was now getting darker and darker as the storm raged closer and closer. Soon, everything would disappear into the night.
Rosie! Rosie! Rosie!
The storm had now arrived on Sodor. Fierce winds blew, heavy drops of rain plopped down, and streaks of lightning flashed across the dark sky, following with loud bangs of thunder. Oh. Rosie had never before felt so lost and alone. She wished she was back in her nice warm shed with Edward. She tried to hold back her tears, but she couldn't help but let them fall down, like the rain splashing down on her. I've been such a silly engine. I should have listened to Edward. I should have listened to my friends. I'm such a silly and scared engine. I don't like this. What's that? What's that? Oh, Edward. Where are you?
Oh, Rosie. My poor little sister. She must be so frightened. Ah! I'm not scared. I'm not scared. Hello? Who's there?
Edward, thank Godred you're out here.
What happened?
We both fell out of Rosie's cab and we don't know where she's gone.
We're looking for Rosie too. Jump in. Where did you last see her?
A few miles from where you came from. We tried going forwards to find her.
Shh! Listen!
Edward! Someone! Please help!
It's Rosie! Hang on, little sister. Big brother is coming.
Rosie had never felt so scared. She was cold. Her fire had gone out and felt very lonely indeed. When suddenly she heard something. Or someone. Could that be Edward? Oh, Edward! Edward! I'm over here! Help!
I'm coming, Rosie! Oh, Rosie, I'm so happy to see you.
As a way.
So am I, Edward. I'm so sorry I didn't listen to you. I was so scared. I thought no one would come.
It's okay. I'm just glad you're safe.
Edward. Edward buffered up to Rosie and he helped pull her home. When the storm was over the following day, Rosie helped out her friends by clearing the wreckage of the storm and to fix things right again. She's now a more sensible engine, as she'd listened to her friends' advice. It made her feel really useful than she'd ever been in her life. And she's more happy to share it with her loving brother, Edward the Blue Engine.